Back here on the Sports Spectacular. Mike, I gotta tell you, one of the things we have talked about over and over is how having successful and powerful sports programs can increase the enrollment at colleges. And we're seeing that at Colorado, the Deion effect, they're saying. We've heard people say now that he's going to build a dynasty, all these things in Colorado, but enrollment's up. Applications are up. People want to go to Colorado.
20% increase in applications from last year. 68,000, that's their record for applicant pool. A 50.5% increase in applications from Black and African American students, and a 25.6 increase from Hispanic and Latino students. And also they're going to make offers to the school will make offers to 51,000 students, of which 35,000 are non-residents. So you charge them significantly more. This is how Nick Saban won or earned well over $1 billion for the University of Alabama, because you also, when you have that many applicants, you can move up your test scores, et cetera. The thing that I think is interesting is Skip Bayless is calling this the Alabama, of modern times, although that, or whatever he said, or, to basically, look at what Nick Saban did. The only problem I have is Deion is untested as a coach, whereas Nick Saban showed up after turning around a Michigan State program, winning a national title at LSU for the first time in ages, and then, having issues in the NFL, and then shows up at Alabama. Deion's got a marvelous resume, but as a coach, he hasn't. I don't know that I can say that he's going to lead them to the football holy, the promised land, the way Nick Saban did.
Well, obviously, yeah, I think that's a big stretch to say he's Nick Saban, but I will say that he's done a good thing at getting this program back where they, to be a name program, and be a kind of a destination school, so to speak. Now, where we may not see destination schools, though, are universities in the state of Florida. This interesting thing happened with the NAACP saying that they do not want, or they're kind of, I wouldn't say they're saying don't go there, but they're saying be aware of this new law, the diversity and inclusion, equity and inclusion law, to make sure that, because Florida has a thing where they don't want that in the university, so forth and so on. This could actually hurt Florida State, Miami, their recruiting, which could in turn open up the door for a lot of other schools to come in and take some of these players.
Yeah, I'm not certain if it'll hurt, because NIL, I mean, look, let's face it.
NIL trumps everything right now.
Well, I mean, look, if somebody wanted one of my kids to go to school and said, we'll give you, $200,000, and somebody else won't, I mean, that could change my child's life. They could, graduate with, $500,000, $600,000 in the bank and buy a house and be decades ahead of their peers. But in fairness, NAACP leader Derek Johnson implored college-bound Black athletes to choose wisely, and diversity, equity, and inclusion are paramount to ensuring equitable and effective education outlooks. And the value that Black and other college athletes bring to large universities is unmatched. So they just said to choose wisely, and I'm sure that may be a factor.
Yeah.
But will that drive the show? I don't think so.
Probably not. And I will say, you would probably even let your kids go to Missouri or Iowa, which really would be, that'd be really bad, right?
Okay. Well, maybe. Okay. So there are limits. There are limits. So. No Missouri, no Iowa, and never, ever Notre Dame. Those three, I'm not negotiating on.
Tony Cordero is not happy about that last one.
Too many. Well, yeah, but he didn't have to grow up in Illinois. And every year you'd look at the Catholic League, and like 14 of their top 15 players would go to Notre Dame, and the other one would go to Michigan. You're like, great. And University of Illinois would go 3-9.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Hey, speaking of having rough seasons, I'm kind of surprised, and I guess I shouldn't be. Mike Woodson's under a lot of heat over in Indiana, but he had a couple of nice years, with Trace Jackson Davis. Now Trace Jackson Davis is gone, and it's been kind of a struggle. But they finish. I mean, you look at this; they're 18-13. They're not terrible. They've got a lot of guys coming back, and they did lose their 5-star commit. But, Mike Woodson really, they have a lot of NIL money. They should be able to do well in the portal. I think that he's got a chance to turn this around. But I thought it was interesting to see Tom Izzo jump to his defense. Now, Izzo's done this before. Now, in previous times, though, when he did this, it was, like Bruce Weber, for example, who was a close friend of his. So it kind of made more sense. The Woodson thing to me was a little bit surprising, and I guess he was asked about it maybe, but it's kind of weird to interject yourself in this situation.
Yeah, I thought the Weber thing was because he and Weber were longtime assistants and there was a kinship and relationship over the years and they were true peers. And then I'm not certain what's going on with the whole Woodson thing, although Tom was clear in his disdain that a guy could win 18 games in one of the toughest conferences and you want to get rid of him. The issue that I would have were I an Indiana fan is the roster construction looks like it's coming straight out of 1985. And even if he has a lot of money, he's going to have to spend wisely. But that's just me.
Yeah, no question. And I think that's the key. Spending wisely, the key in the portal for everyone. Football, basketball, whatever it might be. We'll be back right after this on the Sports Spectacular.